Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of the League of Inches podcast. It feels weird saying this Supercoach edition. We miss it for 1 week and the world goes into meltdown. It feels like the amount of messages I got and on different sort of posts throughout the week and videos on YouTube and things like that with little comments you're getting dropped in about, where's this Supercoach episode? Sorry, guys. My fault. Have been pretty sick last week. So, and obviously with all the controls and stuff like that, I didn't want to stay out till about midnight, which would have to happen to get it all done and uploaded and everything I needed the rest. So the boys kindly said, look, let's just double up this week. We've got a good another episode coming on Wednesday night, guys. So plenty to happen this week from a Supercoach point of view. But then today, unfortunately, you see one of us is missing. Trav has got the bug as well. So we know that he's been sick for about a year now. So it kind of just comes with but he's been able to normally push on now. He's got no voice or nothing. So unfortunately, we're down one man. It didn't quite work out, but we push on. So it's me and Jesse. It's sort of, anytime this happens, Jesse, I get flashbacks to when we really started our first ever Supercoach episode on League of Inches. It was us two, just basically
throwback.
So it is a bit of a throwback, isn't it?
Good fun. I always enjoy just the one-on-ones that we do. Like, it just does. It takes you back to the OG, the early days. But look, last week as well, like, I was probably part to blame, I'd say majority side, for not being able to do the pod. I had to just terrible timing. Hey, you know how things just happen? Everything just in threes. You know that saying, like, it all happens in threes. But it was the weekend right before Australia Day, the Friday. My wife's gone to the Coles just to grab some snacks before heading to her friend's house. Pulled up, got the snacks, came back to the car, wouldn't start. It was not a battery, it was a starter motor. So, unfortunately, you can't do much over a long weekend. So the car got left in the Coles car park until, Tuesday or Wednesday when it came back around. I got the starter and I just did it in the car park, during pod time, basically. So, yeah, just a bit of a shame, but we're here now. We'll do a quick, back-to-back. There'll be 2 pods in, 3 days. So, hopefully, everyone gets what they're after.
100. And can you just quickly, before we get right into it, but the story, what happened with the car sat there over a few days and some knobhead has given you a few parking tickets?
Yeah, a couple. We told them as well, like we told the Coles, the admin people at the top there, they said, tell the council, try and, let them, give them the heads up. And we told them and they were like, thanks for the heads up. Here's some fines.
What a joke.
So, yeah.
Well, if you're a listening parking officer out there and you're the one that has gifted these parking tickets, you're an absolute knob. Go and look yourself in the mirror and just have a really good chat to yourself, because I think you need it. Yeah. Anyway, just a couple of little quick housekeeping things before we get stuck into it. Thank you, obviously, massively to major sponsor Caxton Street Brewing Company and our Supercoach sponsor, Con Freedom Finance Group. Thank you very much both for your support. If you do need anything when it comes to financial advice, help, want to save some money, keep money in your own back pocket, please reach out to Con and his team at Freedom Finance. Very much deserve everything that he can get and support, obviously, people that support us to allow us to continue to bring this to you guys each and every week. A couple of little ones for us personally as well. The page, obviously, it's been a huge day. We are recording this on the Monday, the 2nd. Obviously, it will come out pretty much straight away. But we've had some big episodes and big things happen the last 24 hours. So this morning, magazine dropped, guys. So been dropping some hints. The Legends knew about this for a while now. It does pay to be part of that now, because this is going exclusively to our Legends group only. So $4.49 per month, you will get access to this. This is our preseason version to start with. This will become a weekly thing during the season, but we do need your support. So make sure you head on over to our Legends group. It's our Facebook subscriber group tab. A few people have asked how to get access to it. So go on to our Facebook page, click that subscriber tab, and away you go. You'll see that magazine right there. It's saved there under the files. It's about 56 pages long. It is just a rugby league lover's dream. It's huge. We are not writers by any stretch of the imagination. I'll be proud to admit that. My English teacher probably listening to this, laughing his head off, going, how the hell have you put a magazine together? But what we are, we're passionate rugby league people, guys. And I think that's come across, and you can actually see that when it's passion and something that you love, it's amazing what you can kind of do. And I think we've put together something that's really, really great. I'm really proud of what we've been able to achieve with this one. The team's been incredible. We're partnered with Isaac, Issa, and Watch Her Footy as well, who have both come in with some really cool articles, and one of our other sponsors, bets.com.au, added a few little things at the end with a betting point of view, which is going to help a lot of those punters out there throughout the year. So there is things literally in there for everyone, and we have a deep dive into every single team for this year. Predicted round one lineups, we rate their spines, forward pack, things like that, and also a big predicted finish in there as well. So please help us if you can. I know not everyone can in this day and age, but if you can, it is literally less than a cup of coffee, and it covers you for the whole month. No contracts, nothing like that. Come in, check it out. You don't like what you're seeing, there's obviously other stuff part of the Legends group with Supercoach stuff, things like that. You all know the spiel by now, but it's a great way just to, first and foremost, just to support us, support the page a little bit further. It means a lot. And then just secondly, sorry to ramble on a bit too much, but we've also dropped our big season preview podcast as well. That was basically tonight. So plenty is happening. So YouTube, podcast, or wherever you're watching or listening to this one, if you're obviously an NRL fan, go ahead now. It's about 3.5 hours of just pure godness. I reckon we went into God mode on the weekend, me and Trav, and one of the best pods I reckon we've ever done. It just flowed so well. I went into great detail, but it actually just went on and on and on. It wasn't one of those ones that just felt like it dragged on and we were talking for the sake of it. It really was just a really good podcast. So make sure you go ahead and give that a listen. But anyway, I am here with Jesse. I don't want to keep talking too much, but Jesse, we're here for Supercoach, and there's three more teams to do, and there's a number of people say, hey, do not stop with these three teams where there's a few really big players to talk about in this one. So it is only the two of us, but I do have a sneaky little feeling that this still could be a really decent episode to come.
100%. I'm super keen on these teams. Genuinely, but particularly the first two. But we'll go through them in a minute. So relevant, man. Super relevant. So many good players. Heaps of good options. Heaps of premium options that are underpriced. It's almost like we saved two of the best for last. To be fair, so.
Yep. And they are basically, if you haven't been following along, most of you have so far, the Dolphins, the Rabbitohs, and the West Tigers are the last team, which obviously have the week one bye. So we put that to the end, and it was a bit easier to talk about for other reasons there. Let's get into the Dolphins. So first, their first 5 games is South Sydney at Suncorp. Round 2, the Titans at Suncorp. Round 3, Sharks at Ocean Protect Stadium. I think that's just the Sharks and now name their home ground for the 78,000th time. So, yeah, that's whatever that is. Round 4, the Broncos at Suncorp, technically an away game for them that week, and then Manly round 5 at Redcliffe. So they've got a lot of home games basically in there, and that extra game at Suncorp, which helps. Any injury list players? So Tommy Flegler is still listed between that 1 to 3, but we've already heard it. Great news for him is that he's looking at playing that first trial and getting through some minutes and things like that. So a big eye watch for Tommy Flegler. We'll talk about him shortly. The other ones to watch, Maxi Platt coming back from that ACL. Anywhere between that round sort of 3 to 6, I'm hearing a bit probably more on that 5-ish sort of mark for Max Platt at the moment. Jack Bostock, plenty have forgotten about him because they're just so stacked even without him at the moment. Rounds 8 to 10 coming back from that ACL. And Jeremy Marshall-King, the unfortunate incident at home, it just isn't the Dolphins without a preseason injury, is it? Meniscus surgery and back about round 7. So straight off that, Jesse, you look at I guess the snapshot side of things for the Dolphins are being in Queensland so much. And even probably saying the one they do travel for is the Sharkies, which I think early on the Sharkies might not be the worst team to get, especially on an away trip for the Dolphins. So we add into that and a few of these guys coming back from injuries and that, there's some really appealing options, it feels like. And it feels like the Dolphins are one of those almost must-target teams to start the year.
Yeah, I think so. I favour their draw quite a lot, to be honest. I always go back to them, and I almost have an issue with how many Dolphins is too many, because there's a lot of value. There's a lot of good players in this team in general, so I really like it. I like the Dolphins' prospects for the year too. I think they're going to do quite well. Obviously, you've got some of the elite point scorers in Supercoach in their side. It's just good good times really. Like they can cop an injury, they can definitely find one out of nothing, but there's always another guy up. That's something that you find with the Finns. Like there's always someone else to fill the void, and it's almost seamless. Like Plath was that guy when Gilbert went down, and we're like, holy shit, Plath is a monster. And then, out comes Kurt Donahue, and you're like, okay, geez, where are they making these dudes? They've just got a factory out the back, and they're just spawning like little weapons. So there's a lot of good stuff happening at the Finns. Unfortunately, obviously, we're talking about Marshall King in the hooker position. Um, who knows how this happened? I don't think anyone does. I don't think he does, but
No.
he's not fit till round 7, so it kind of rules him out. I'm a massive Marshall King fan too.
Yes.
I really like him as a super coach option. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame that he's not about, but it kind of opens the doors up. I think Donahue's going to be the guy anyway. I think that's probably just the most accurate, easy. He did it last season for him. You may as well just run straight into it. So kind of just, yeah, it's kind of an easy one really for that, but he's not a jewel yet, so you can't really consider him in this hooker slot.
Yes. No, I was about to say the hooker slot, and basically you just covered it because Jeremy Marshall King isn't available to start the year, so you don't even want to talk about him. 603K as well. He's actually priced quite highly. It's one of those underrated ones in my opinion. Still, at the moment, 1% owned. So if you're listening out there and for some reason you've got him in your team, get him out, go and fix that up straight away. Brad Snyder, halfback dual as well, 305K. But like I said, mate, there's just no real point going into those details at the moment. I'm sure throughout the season you'll tackle Jeremy Marshall King at some point because he always seems to become a decent option at some point in the season. So keep an eye on that one. Let's go straight to the front row forwards then. So Daniel Saifidi, 601K. Francis Molo, 419K. Tommy Flegler, 346K. Felice Kafusi, 341K. And Sebastian Suar, 216K. I'll tell you one thing about the Dolphins, just quickly from an NRL point of view, Jesse. I've done a few of these, sort of predicted the teams and things like that. Full strength, even with like an injury or two, I find it extremely hard to put Felice Kafusi in this 17. Like it's
100%.
showing you where this side's at. So there's so many options here, and haven't even got to 2RF yet, where a few of these other middle sort of guys are hiding at the moment. But the Dolphins have a huge amount of options here. I don't know, from a Supercoach, we'd normally say that's not quite a good thing. But there's potentially a little bit of value in at least one or two of these guys as well.
Yeah, well, like you look at Saifidi, and he was an absolute monster for the Finns last season, and they needed him to be too. Kind of come out of nowhere because we didn't really see that from him at the Knights, but I just don't think he's an option at 600K. It's just, he's too much. Last year he would have been, definitely. But again, he priced up very quickly. Same as Josh Kerr. Like the Finns just had this middle thing really down pat. Molo, potentially at 419, but I think you just look down, you just go straight to Flegler.
Yeah.
Like front row is such a funny position at the moment where I'm not really looking at anyone in the 400s besides Mooney. And then you go down to the 300s and you've got 3 of them. And I think Flegler's probably the hottest prospect out of all 3. Those 3 being Paseka and Calhoun for ownership. So yeah, I like Flegler for it. I'll be interested to see what his load's like round 1. I think it's kind of what it's going to be. I don't know if he's going to be a viable front row 2. As your main like starting him. I feel like he's a very valuable stash on the bench as a third slot. Flegler's always been a 1 point a minute guy, even at the Broncos. He never really lit the world on fire, but it was, behind Haas and Carrigan, it's kind of hard to. In 2023, so before he joined the Finns, 23, he had averaged 46 in 43 minutes, so good PPM there. In 2022, it was 45 in 44 minutes. 2021, it was 43 in 42 minutes. So he's always been in the green. In the first 4 rounds of 2024, before that shoulder injury that he got, he was averaging 59. In more minutes too, close to 50. It was about 48 minutes over there. So it's kind of like if you expect him to get into that 48, 50 minute kind of role again, then he's going to be probably a 55 minute guy, 55 average guy. He was already doing 59 in the first 4 rounds. So we've got him at 346. Absolutely no problem getting him at all. I think you should be higher owned, to be honest. He's 20%. I understand if you don't, want to back him in early on because of the injury, and it was a pretty nasty one. Like a shoulder injury turned into nerve damage over a season and a half. So you just don't know what's going to happen when he's back around. But you've got options. Like you've got two guys cheaper than him.
Yes.
Maybe slightly not as high a potential hold for the season as he could be. But again, yeah, he'd be heavy on the radar.
The thing with Flegler, I reckon he's one of those ones where if obviously we see 20% now, if we look at this once the two trials are finished, I reckon that will almost double if he can get through
Yeah.
at least one of those games and look even decent. He doesn't even have to look good; he just has to look decent, and I think that number will go quite up. And then the good thing with him is that obviously coming back from injury, I think early on the minutes might be a little bit reduced, and they'll be really careful with him. But the good thing for him is throughout the season, his minutes will just continue to increase. He
Yeah.
might start with just getting that one stint off the bench, but then probably won't take him too long. He's been such a good player for a couple of seasons there before he got that massive injury. So he'll then get that two stints. He'll start starting for the Dolphins, and he'll get some really decent points per minute and things like that. So I'm with you there. If you do go early with him, you're probably just going, you know what? Let's just sit him there. He'll start
Yeah.
probably that third guy, and then there's a chance he might at some point come into that second person, that player, which would be awesome. Otherwise, you just sit there and you just see what happens with him. It's not one of those you're looking quick results with Flegler. It'd be a long term play.
Yeah, it's a longer term thing. You just let it ride. You know, you just
Yeah.
play him there and plug him and just see what happens in the long run. But you look at the ownership stats out of the whole front row. 0% everywhere except Flegler, 20%. So no one's really interested in anyone else but him, and it's fair enough.
Yeah, no, 100%. Let's go over to 2RF for the Dolphins. So you got Connolly Lemuelu at 529K, Max Plath 517K, Kurt Donahue, like you mentioned, looks like he'll be starting at hooker 497K. 2RF only that I don't know that actually no, he'll be in there for at least 7 weeks, so that should change. He should get the dual hooker
If
at some point. So
It depends on how they rule it, because if he's just filling in for injury, they might not just give it to him from round one. They
okay,
might have to wait till he does his 3 games and get it by round 6, but he should get it. I don't see any
yeah.
reason why he doesn't get it at all. I would. I don't see a world where he's really hooker from round one, though. I think they made it adamant if you're just filling in for injury, you don't get it. But
Yeah,
it's
okay.
long enough. It's long enough. They maybe consider it.
Tommy Gilbert, 460K. Kulikefu Fine Fuiaki, 451K. Morgan Knowles, 400K. On Keely, 391K. And Ray Stone, 378K. Jesse,
Mm,
I've been asked by Trav basically to bring him up because you love a pom, apparently. So
I do.
Morgan Knowles, 400K, only currently 2%. There is a lot of leaked news at the moment that he has absolutely killed preseason. And obviously, with a couple of these injuries, which has helped him reach this stage, he will be starting lock, which is music to a lot of people's ears, I reckon, because that for me at least spells at least a 60-minute stint, if not the potential of a little bit more. And just get down and dirty. He's
Pretty
a
much.
pom. Yeah, just go and do your
That's kind of
stuff.
it's kind of what they do, isn't it? They're just gritty meat potatoes. You're not going to get much. I haven't seen a lot from him, honestly. I've watched a bit from YouTube just to try and get my head around what his game is like and what to expect out of him. I know there's some Super League dudes that are, big fans, and they're saying it's like a hell of an acquisition for the Finns to get him, and he's going to be straight in that side, and he's just going to be the man. How it translates is a whole different story, but I'm pretty keen, honestly. Like I'll always roll the dice on, a new recruit coming in, especially when they're priced where they are. But traditionally they're a little bit cheaper. That's the problem.
Yes.
Like Pierce Paul
350,
was
isn't it?
335, I think it
Yeah.
was over the last couple of years. They come in at that like 33 average. You know what I mean? It's you can breeze to a 33 average if you're starting lock. Like you should do that in the first stint.
Yeah.
Um, if it's the case where like it's another Smithies kind of thing, it's like, well, I don't really see the upside there, but he's got a career average of like next to 0% something of offload, so he's not got much else besides tackling, some hit ups and etc. And even that's what I'd watched in the YouTube. So if anyone wants to, send me something that I haven't seen or correct me if I'm wrong, I want to watch him. I think he could be a really good 400K because we've got a couple, and that's the only reason why I'm not like diving in head first.
Mm.
If he was 300 or 350, I'd probably be a bit keener. But I think with like McEwen, Hamish Stewart, Lukey potentially, we haven't heard much there. A little bit dearer, you're in the mid 400s. There's a couple of options. I kind of want to see where he fits, but I am definitely keen. And it comes back down to it again. It's like if I've got Flegler at front row, if I've got Morgan Knowles here, I've got Herbie here, I've got this and there. It's like all of a sudden I've got 5 Dolphins. So Yeah, I don't mind it. I just think the ownership will probably get higher once people have actually seen him do something. We just don't know
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. The rest of this list, they're pretty low owned, and I think probably rightly so at this point in time. So, not really anyone else to really talk about, in my opinion, on this list, Jesse.
No, I don't think so. I think they're all kind of priced up to where they'll be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's not a lot of value outside of that. Again, Morgan Knowles, we don't know yet, so there
Yeah.
could be value with him. If there's opportunity for like an Oren Keeley, again, he's 391 already. Like it's kind of hard. Yeah, I think we move on.
Halfback, potentially a forgotten man in a way. Isaiah Katoa, 639K. Went about his work quite quietly in a way and under the radar last year, Jesse, and actually started to produce some really decent Supercoach scores. He's currently 7% owned in a world where we actually put a post up this afternoon on our Legends group about this. It's sort of hinting anyway about everyone's trying to go away from Cleary and obviously not go and spend that cash all the way up. So if everyone's talking about, look, Hines is still a bit of a grab. If I can even go lower than Hines, that's perfect. I can free up a bit more cash, go elsewhere with my team. Then people are talking about Moses and Hughes. I haven't heard many talk about Katoa yet, Jesse. And if I remember correctly, he actually was really decent last year.
He was exceptionally decent for my draft team when I won the grand final as well. So I picked him up off the waivers in round one. It's funny how things change, isn't it? Look, I love Katoa. I think he's an absolute freak, and I think he's only getting better.
Yeah,
I just don't know how much more he's got as far as like Supercoach output, because last year he was very impressive.
yeah,
He was very, very good. Like, there's not much more you can add to that bow, I would think. Outside of like goal kicking ceiling, it would be nice to see from him. He had a solid base, to be fair. Like his base and power for a halfback, like it's basically identical to what Nathan Cleary was putting out as a base power. 32. Cleary was on 33. So it's very impressive on the base side of things. He averaged 65. It's good. Like it's good. He scored 2 tries with that as well. So like a lot of it was just created stats. It was, you know, good runs. It was assists. It was everything. It was just he was a busy boy always. So I'm a fan. But halfback's a bit funny at the moment, and I just
mm,
don't know. His ownership's higher than I expected, 7%. People are putting faith in him, and the run is really good. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if, after 6 rounds, Qatar was averaging 70,
yes.
65. Like, it really wouldn't surprise me at all. A lot of home games. They're in a very, very attacking side. Like, he's got weapons everywhere in that team
Mm,
that he can play off, and he is the man. Like, Nick Kareem is obviously assisting and just helping him out, but it is Katoa's team. So,
yeah.
I think it's a good buy, to be honest. Probably won't do it in a classic sense. I think I will very, very keenly get him back in a draft if I can. Um, but yeah, I can't knock it, honestly. I just think with who's around him, like Hughes, I think off the top of my head without looking at him, Hughes is a bit cheaper, um,
Yes.
slightly cheaper. For a little more, there's Sam Walker as well, who I think is just, exponentially, his ceiling's, uncapped at the moment. So
Hughes is 631K.
yeah, so it's an 8K discount to get
Mm,
Jerome Hughes, who a season prior averaged what 80.
mm.
And that's the kind of thing that I want to get out of a halfback. I think Katoa's been exceptionally good to watch, and as an NRL player, he's incredible. But for where his Supercoach ceiling is, I think he may have gotten to it already,
The only
or
thing
might.
that's starting to make me maybe think about him a lot more than I was, that opening 5 or so rounds
Mm,
is really good. Like it's a really nice start, especially when you consider some of these other teams and other Supercoach options where Katoa, in my opinion anyway, that price tag he's on, I don't think he'll lose money with that opening 5 or so weeks. If anything, I think he may
yeah.
gain a little bit. And then for those looking and trying to find a quick way to make sure that gap to Cleary isn't too much, he might help, and that gap might close quite quickly because Penrith obviously had that really tough start to the year. So depending on how
Mm.
Cleary can go and how Penrith can go, he might lose a little bit of cash there. But yeah, it's just
Well,
that draw has got me actually thinking a little bit more about him, to be honest.
yeah, and that's the thing with the Finns draw; it's really good, so
Mm.
you can justify anyone. The round one last year, they played the Rabbitohs. He scored 52.
That
It's
was that one
respectable.
they got moved.
Mm,
That with the flooding, they had to go straight down to Sydney after like within a day and get that game
yeah.
played. So
It was pretty. Yeah, I remember players were staying. Wasn't it?
yeah.
There was a cyclone or something up your
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
and
it was just
Nick Reamer's wife chimed up, and everything just went.
Yeah, and then they got mucked up the next week or two as well. It was all the start for the Dolphins last year was shit.
Yes, so you can put that one. I'm just looking at their first three fixtures, and they're quite early. They played them last year. Round one, again, that messed up one. He got 52. Like, you'll take a 52 in round one from a half. It's probably what you get out of Cleary in round one. Round five, when they played the Titans, he scored 63. So it's not too bad. But round 17, they played the Rabbitohs again, right? Who are they opening with? He scored 111. Like, he put a
Probably
ton
depleted a little bit, but still, he's got to put them on the run. Some don't do it, so.
Exactly, Rabbitohs usually depleted. So 111, like, you'll take that. And then the second time he played the Titans around, probably not second last round, he scored 79. So, like, he's got that in him, and he's done well against this opposition, especially the first starting players. So good pod. Hey, it'd be a really good pod to run. I commend anyone that'll do it, to be fair. I would personally, I'd probably push up 40k and I'd just get Sammy Walker, who's got the goal kicking. But yeah, can't knock it.
5'8", Cody Nikorima, 597k. I'm going to be honest with you, mate, I don't have any interest.
Neither do I.
Perfect.
Neither
Centre
do I.
wing, I have a lot more interest here. Top of the list, Herbie Farnworth, 825k. Currently 23% owned as well. Tavita Nafahu, 655k. Jermaine Asako, 609k. Jake Avarillo, 579k. Selwyn Cobbo, new recruit from the Broncos, 524k. Jack Bostock, obviously out for a little bit there, so not to worry either. So there's a couple of nice looking options in my opinion here, Jesse. Honestly, I would not condemn anyone out there if they were starting with three of these blokes. I actually can see really good upside and relevancy in three of these guys. That would be a massive ballsy play. Like, I would love to see that. I won't be doing that though. That's too many for me in one position. But yeah, there's a few really good options here.
Yeah, I've humoured it. Hey, I've put it through. I've got two in. I've had two in there for quite some time. I've got just such a good feeling about Selwyn Cobbo at the Dolphins, and it's from the get-go, from round one, like from day one, on the team pick. I was like, whoa, there's something here. There's something here that's just going to go bang, and he's got enough time to do it, and he's playing outside Herbie, I would imagine. Look what Bostock has done outside Herbie, and Herbie's got glue hands. So Cobbo's he's got something going, and I really like it. Hey, 19% ownership now is just climbing and climbing and climbing. 524k, like that's pretty good for Cobbo. Like, I feel like that's 3 plays for him, 3 massive ones, and he's just, line break, 3 tackle bust, try. Like, that's 50 points for him. I just see it. I just see him really succeeding, and I'm very tempted, but he's not in the 3 that I have at the time. So yeah, Zarko and Herbie, hey.
I love, just quickly on Cobbo as well, I love the fact that he's only on a 1-year deal. So I love the fact that means he has to literally pull his finger out and he has to be playing. I'm really keen on him. There's just this storyline I can see happening, especially if he's serious about extending this career of his, and he's back in love with the game and things like that. That's a 524k. We could be talking about him at the end of the year saying, what a bargain price that was. How good was that, getting him at 524k to start the year? But you're right on. Obviously, I know you're massive on Jermaine Asako to start with, especially. I think what you've obviously done some number crunching. He's a very good starter generally in Supercoach terms.
Yeah, 100% he is, and I can pull that up very quickly because I haven't actually got it in front of me. But I can just go the first 6 rounds. The first 6 rounds. So, like, 2023 is like peak Zarko, right? We all kind of remember him just banging it out. He averaged 84.5 in the first 6 rounds for that year. Last year, he averaged 58.83. There was a bit in that too. Like, obviously, he had his ups and his downs, but he had that massive run where he's got the goal kicking, and we know how good attacking side the Finns are. He can keep his floor 30 points up so easily. And he's got, like, if the ball decides to go right, sometimes it doesn't, but he's a junk dog, so he can just find something super late anyway. Like, he's just got so many avenues to score big points. Round 1 last year, he scored 96. It's like you're very happy to have him in round 1, copping a 96 then. A 39, a 30, and a 34 to follow. Not ideal. And then 114. So, yeah, like you average it out. Like he does end up, with that big 60 plus, 65, hopefully a 70 even. But I see him where he is at his price at the moment, 609, and I was like, you can get tons out of this guy more often than you don't, like in a good fixture. So I like it. He had some massive games last year. He had 4 big tons. Oh, sorry, 3. The 114, the 132 in round 14, and a 110. But he was on the climb for quite a while. Like, there's a lot of 60s, a lot of 70s, a fair few 80s. Like, you know what you get out of him. And I think just having a goal-kicking winger and a very good attacking side that he can keep his floor 30 points up if it's a good game, you can't really go wrong, genuinely. Like, you just kind of take it for what it is. I love goal-kicking center wings. I just think they're so valuable. We see it in Val Holmes, and you see it in a couple of like Garrick as well. Like, there's these dudes that just their base is so high, and they never really have a bad game.
Yeah,
Zarko could do nothing in a game and still score 50, and like I'll take that every day, every single day.
I don't think I need to talk him up any further. I think you've done enough there. So I want to go straight up to the top. The big dog, Herbie Farnworth, 825K. I have not made a team yet that hasn't had Herbie Farnworth in it. That is how high I am on him. I think he's every single time the second guy I choose after Payne Haas. That draw, what he can do, the run he's in at the moment, he's for mine the best center in the game. His confidence would be at an all-time high. I even 825, I still think he's value for him.
Yeah, I can't not have him. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to watch a Finns game and not have him in my team. Like, it's just scary. It's not worth it. And no one can tackle him. He's just a beast. He's on the up. He just keeps getting better. Like last year, 84.4 average, 19 games. The season before, 74.4. Funnily enough, too, he had the same base between both years. He just scored 4 more tries.
Yeah.
And then just got a bit busier with his tackle busting. So, yeah, look, you can't knock it. It's a big, big expense in your center wing. Like, it's a lot of money, obviously, but I think you just do it. And you just enjoy a bit of footy, hey. You just enjoy watching the beautiful man in his stride. Like, that's
hot,
one.
So you can basically just say, yeah, I've got him in because he's hot, and
and
that's
like,
good enough.
If your wife wants to watch something on the telly and you go, look, it's a Finns game, she's like, oh, but I want to watch Bridgerton at the moment. You go, you know what? I've got something better. He's English. It's almost the same thing.
I got Herbie.
You got Herbie. I got Herbie
and
at home.
You're both cheering. You're both like you. Obviously, if he's making a break, the camera zooms in on him. The missus is cheering because he's hot, and she's like, "How good is this? This hot, sweaty, pommy bloke." And you're cheering because he's getting you Supercoach points.
Exactly. It's win-win. It's win-win. Just do it. 100%. We have. We've sold every marriage counselling effort. Just get Herbie and watch some footy.
Let us know in the comments. Did we just convince you to buy Herbie Farnworth if you haven't already? that has to be the ultimate sell right there, because any podcast you've ever listened to about Supercoach, that right there, I think, is the best selling of all time.
I do have to play a little devil's advocate.
Oh, you can't end on this.
No, you have to. Like, realistically, I'm not going to start without him. I'm doing it 100%. You're not going to catch me otherwise. He's in my team name, and he's going to stay there. It was a huge year. It was a career year. And we kind of see this happen where you go, he hit his strides. He didn't start well. He traditionally doesn't really start that well either. Like, you're going to get him working into it. Probably by round 6 onwards, you get a bit of an uptick in his output. But I'll just go for the first 6 rounds again. Last year, he averaged 68 in the first 6 weeks. So based off his 4 average that he's got to reach to break even, you're potentially losing 150K there after a month and a half. That's entirely possible. Like, you can't just sit here and go, Herbie's the best player in the world. He very well could be the best center. It's one of those tricky ones where, like, it's an investment, a long-term one, and you just got to make peace with losing some coin. You do it with Cleary, you do it with a couple of these other big 800 plus guys. You get them because of their pedigree and for what they can do. I still think Herbie's a valuable captaincy option if you need him as well, which is why you'd pay 800. But you know what? If he loses a bit of coin, don't panic. and don't get rid of him, and don't try and cut him off before the drop happens, because you're going to get that game where he's just going to reach it back again, and you go, well, he had 110 break even and he scored 120, and people are going to jump off. So I just think, don't be surprised if you lose 100k on him early on, but
I'm already panicking.
Don't let it ruin your day. I think you take it for what it is. Once he gets going, pretty much from round 7, where he scored the 98, everything after that, 72, 78, 84, 93, 71, 105, 150, 106, that's consecutive games. I wasn't just picking out good scores. That was one after another. Like, before that, from round 1, it was a 65, a 58, an 85, a 69, and a 55. Again, pretty good. Like, you do like that. Pretty good scores, considering he got better, but you don't want 50s when you're paying 825k. So that's just to put it out there. I will 100% be starting with him. I'm not going to not have him for the run, and I think you can say a lot about the Finns for that in general, but yeah, just have to disclaimer it a little bit.
You had me so aroused, and it's now sort of, in a way, gone back inside my body. But
nah, it's fine. Let it out.
Fullback. This is why we need Trav on here. We go a bit loosey goosey without
we always
master overlooking us and just giving us those filthy looks that he likes to do whenever he goes slightly off task. Fullback. Hemiso Tabuai Fedo, aka the Hammer, 702k. Trey Fuller, 559k. So there's a little bit of a backstory here, guys. There's so much talk going on at the moment about this fullback position for the Dolphins, and what it seems each week it changes who's getting the fullback jersey and things like that. So there's been a lot of talk, Hemiso, into the centres, which he's done a remarkable job there at rep level, obviously the pinnacle of our game. So he would obviously naturally become a really good NRL centre, in my opinion. Recent times, I've heard the fact that he's going to then probably start with Hammer at fullback now. Fuller, who knows, maybe these new rules, if this new rule change happens, might become one of those super sub guys or something like that. I'm not too sure. Hope not, because then you look at from a Supercoach point of view, which is why we're here. Fuller's priced at 559k. Last year in 4 games, he averaged 88 points. Already, I'm looking at it going, this guy is just a money-making machine.
Yep.
If, and it's a massive if, he can get this fullback jersey, which at the moment seems unlikely from what we've heard, but man, I just give it to him. Give it to him.
Yeah. Look, he's 300k underpriced if he gets the start. Like, Fuller's a beast, man. Base power 42.5. It's probably one of the best for fullbacks, I would say, next to Dylan Edwards, potentially. There's not many better than him at what he can do, and it's funny, like, he hasn't played that many games. I've only got information here on like 16 games from him. Going back to 23, which is funny too. So, yeah, look, I really want him to get the spot, and I just want that because he's 559k with, a ton ceiling pretty often. So, like, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and it's a bit of hopes and dreams, and you go, okay, well, Dry Gray's close to his price. You got Palongo there. If you're playing around with that budget, you've already got Keeney. It's not a consideration, one or the other. You have to have him in general. So, I think the 5% that own him, it's an ambitious. I was one of them. I haven't got him anymore, but if honestly, the second I hear Fuller is the starting fullback for the Dolphins, I am jumping over everyone in front of me to put him into my team. It's going to happen, has to. But yeah, it's not likely. That's the problem. I just don't know where they're going to put anyone. Like, they've got enough wingers and centers and things that you can't move Hammer out of his fullback position. He's the friggin' Queensland fullback. Like, it just, yeah, I don't know.
It's a really weird one, but obviously from a Supercoach point of view, we'd absolutely love it. Yeah. And I'm gonna plant a little seed here because I reckon there'll be a lot of guys in the old championship draft for League of Inches. I don't know when I'll do it, but I am very tempted to have Fuller sit on my bench. And I know for a fact, as soon as they pull that trigger, I'm going to have this guy that can average 80.
I think you'll be dropping him if you do that quite soon.
I'll hold on to him. I'll
Hold
be
on.
stubborn with this one. I do not want anyone,
Oh,
especially you. This is out of spite, actually. I don't want you getting your filthy hands all over him and getting him just for the run home, and he gets you 100 every game, and you freaking finish freaking eighth, and you win the comp. So
hmm,
yeah, go away.
something
Go
happened.
away.
But Hammer, I suppose we've got to talk about Hammer, the actual fullback for the Dolphins.
Yes,
Look, average 71.8. Very good.
he can do a
Very,
thing.
very overlooked. Like very overlooked. And I don't know. It's been like this for years too. I think 2 years Hammer's lost his dual center wing, and I always go, if only he had a dual center, I'd have him. But I just don't really consider him in the fullback
Mm,
realm for some reason, even though like super reliable. And we saw it last year too. I'm pretty sure they had that really early run. He went pretty big, and then he got an injury after mass people brought him in, or
mm,
if that was the season prior, I can't remember. But he started the round off with an 80. Those 3 games that Azarko had poor, it must have just been the Dolphins in general because I'm looking at Hammer a 30, a 22, and a 41 as well. So it wasn't run for him, but
don't
a
get on.
74, 124, 46, 74, 81. He's got it. Very try reliant though. That's the thing. Base power is actually quite good, 38, but with 22 tries. So yeah, without the tries, go back, you just knock even 7 off. In 2024, he scored 15, he averaged 66. So yeah, I just feel like he's going to be that sort of mid 60,
Yeah.
float around, up and down. Depends on the run, depends on the time you get him, all that kind of stuff. It's just
Does
not really an option for me.
with we're talking obviously about this stacked Dolphins backline. Is there a chance? Like, I don't know. This can go either way for the Hammer. The tries, there's 2 ways to see it. The tries either dry up because there is literally just options everywhere. They can go either side. There's not this heavy reliance, which it has been over the last few years, about getting the ball to Hammer to do something crazy. Or because there's so many options, he literally is just this. He just chimes in, and he's just so good at doing so. He's such a good supporting player that these tries to just open up so easily for him now. He just has that bit of speed, that bit of space. He's working with Cobbo, with Farnworth, Katoa, and opposition are just are all at a loss, going, who the hell do we even look for anymore? They've got 16
Mm,
guys out there that can attack. So I'm interested to see. I don't think I'll start with him, and it sucks because I reckon the time to get him, if you're going to do it, is early because they've got a really good start to the year. So um,
yeah.
it's interesting to see what way that can ends up going for Hammer.
Yeah, look, he's a try scorer. I don't
Yeah.
think he's got too much in the way of assists and making things happen. He usually just finishes them. He had a strike rate of 104.8% last year. It was positive. He scored more tries than he had games. I think when it comes to the Dolphins too, like they're a team that can put 9 tries on with 9 different try scorers. So, it's just
So he'll get one at least.
at least one, at least one. And if he's going to get at least one a game, he's going to, you would hope he's going to get at least,
Yeah.
60 a game. It's like for 700K, you want a bit more, but it's probably going to happen. There'll be those games, there'll be the ups and downs. Like you kind of just take it. You pay big money for Walsh for the ups and downs, and at the moment, it's just been a lot of ups. I think he's got more of a ceiling anyway, but yeah, it's a rogue one. You're just not going to see too many people with Hammer in their team. But if it's a draw thing, no time like the round one, genuinely.
Yeah. That's it for the Dolphins. Very, very interesting side. I think there'll
Mm,
be at least probably 3 or so in most teams to start the year, if not more. I think there'll be a very big player to start the year in Supercoach land, and I think they've shown last year to everyone, even with a depleted side, they can attack all year round. So they were
yeah.
the best attacking team last year in the NRL competition. Obviously, Supercoach scores heavily for attacking upside sort of plays and things like that. So yeah, they're
Mm,
just ones where it's not even one of those things where you get off them. It's just like if you start with them, you probably even get more as the season goes in and some of these guys happen. And then throughout the year, you'll start talking about your plus and things like that who are fit, and then they get their reliable 60, 65, stuff like that. So very keen to see what happens throughout the year. But yeah, Dolphins huge, not just watch throughout the year, but just almost a must play to get on and
mm,
get on the right ones to start the year with.
yep, I agree. I'm probably going to have at least 3 to start, I reckon,
Yep. Yep.
at least.
Let's go the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So round 1 next year, they got the Dolphins at Suncorp. Round 2, the arch enemies, the Roosters at Allianz Stadium. Round 3 against the Tigers at Gosford, round 4, they've got the bye. And round 5, they've got the Bulldogs at Accor Stadium, which ends up being their first actual home game. The Gosford one's class as it, but then round 5 is their actual proper home game there. On the injury front, they've got a few players on this list, but there's a mixture of people that are back basically for preseason. They're all basically ready to go. Campbell Graham's on and off. He's just, who knows what's happening with him. Isaiah Tass, unfortunately, is pretty much out for the year with that ACL. If not, he might come back right at the end, but he won't be Supercoach relevant. Jamie Humphries, suspension till round 3, which I think's gone a bit forgotten about for a lot of people out there.
I didn't know
they
that.
forgot that no halfback to start the year. And Brandon Smith, the possible suspension, that's gone very quiet as well. Obviously, we've heard the great stories that he's turned his life around, things like that. He's working hard on himself, but there is still that lingering little thing, which I'm so shocked it's still drawn out this much and this long, but he's got potentially a suspension. If he doesn't get suspended, which we'll talk about him very, very shortly, he becomes a very handy option. But South, Jesse, I feel like we may as well just say the same snapshot as the Dolphins. They are a very viable Supercoach team to start the year with. Plenty of players who I think most Supercoaches out there have their eyes firmly on. So another big one for us, but for all the right reasons.
Yeah, because they're cheap. And there's a lot of them. I just think like you look at the round 4 bye is not ideal. They get Tigers in round 3, which is probably the best for price changes because you get a good look in the first 2. And then you got a nice fixture, just speaking from what the last couple of years have been like for the Tigers, not to say it's going to continue. But look, if they can put a full side together, again, not having a halfback is probably going to hurt them a little bit to start with. But yeah, a lot of options,
Jaden
man.
Sullivan
Heaps.
will probably start there to start the year. So
Yeah, well,
or Glover. They've obviously got the new recruit Glover as well, but I'm hearing it's Sullivan. So
yeah, either way, it's nothing too permanent for them, so they can probably make do. But
you can do it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've exactly the same as the Finns. Hey, I'm getting in the same position where I'm like, oh, I've got more Rabbitohs than I like to see in my team, which is probably much 2. If I've got 2 or more Rabbitohs, I'm starting to look at my side, just yuck, what's going on here? But they're viable, man. They're very viable. So you just you get them, and you just got to ignore everything and the noise and the media stuff and the background. The last 12 months of these particular players, like everything's sort of coming back. There's sort of an air of the Rabbitohs at the moment. You just think they're kind of turning over something new to follow Brandon Smith's lead, but hooker. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, with that round 4 bye, there might be some new players or anything. Is that any reason for concern at all? Not really.
Not really. I don't think so. Like you get round 1, 2, Dolphins and Roosters. They're pretty good. Like it could be whatever. It could be anything against them. Then you get, if they're impressive in the first 2 rounds, I think you're going to see a lot of people buy them for round 3, which is tricky because then you got to buy them making peace with not having them the following round. So then you hesitate. Maybe you don't do it, and you just go, well, I'll cop 1 price rise, and then I'll have 2 weeks to buy them again, and then you work some funds out otherwise. Or you start with them, and then you go, well, if they're no good, the thing is you don't want to trade them out if they're not good by the Tigers game because you want to see what happens during that game. And then there's a bye the following round. So it's kind of weird. Like, I think if you get them, you just commit and you just go, that's fine. I'm just going to ride this out and see how this goes. There's not too many plays you're punting on with the Rabbitohs. I think, there's enough there. You know who you want and you know who's actually going to score well. I'm not gambling on Campbell Graham becoming a 67 average guy again. I'm just not doing that. It's not going to happen. I think realistically, you kind of look at the side and you go, cool, Brandon Smith, dirt cheap. You just get him. You just get him as your hooker too. Why not? Like, who else are you going to get, man? He's almost 50% owned. It should be more, but otherwise you're nothing. So there's no other value there. You got Keon, who's an animal. You got Fafita. You got Cam Murray. Outside of that, you could punt on a couple of centers, but I still wouldn't. So there's a lot of options, and we kind of know all of the ones that are viable, but their price points are really appealing, just off where they are. So we'll obviously dive into this even further, but yeah. Anything to say?
No, I'm happy to rip into it because most of what we'll say is through it. So for hooker, Peter Mamazilas, 481k. Bronson Garlick from the Storm with that 2RF dual, 355k. And you just spoke about him. Brandon Smith, 235k. I've got Brandon Smith in my team. We've seen some leaked sort of team news and some in training sessions and things like that. The fact that he has been picked as a starting hooker, I don't think he'll play, obviously, the whole game there. I think Peter Mamazilas will come on and play a decent amount. He'll probably start and then probably work his way into the forwards for his second stint, which I still don't mind. I like that. I think it means we'll get a 2 stints of Brandon where he's basically working his ass off. He looks the fittest he's probably ever been in his footy career, to be fair. His headspace seems right as well. I think all of it just reeks, as long as he doesn't get some fat suspension that we're not sure we don't know about. I think he's one of those guys you just have to have in your team. Like you said, just put him 2 and just see what happens.
Yeah. You know what? Even if he is suspended, just get him anyway. It's 235k. You can't really go much lower. You've got 201s. They're never going to play a game. At least there's a chance to. And if he's suspended for an extended time, there's enough. And you've just got a free enough for just having him anyway. There's literally no reason to not have him. If he's your starting hooker, there's a reason to not have him. But if he's on your bench, you may as well. He's got a career average, 70 games at hooker, 52.2. Not bad. Honestly, it's not bad. And that's in
starting hooker.
That's in 57 minutes. He's not an 80-minute guy. He's what you said, either off the bench, through the middle, splits minutes, that kind of thing. You just go back to 24, played 19 games, averaged 41. And they're at hooker too. These are all hooker games. So played 19 games at hooker, 41 average. 23, played 16 games at hooker, 47 average. He's 235k. Like, what's the worst he can do?
And he was out of shape. He was really out of shape those last couple of years as well. So it's almost hard to judge him off that as well, what he produced, because he just was he's admitted to it as well on the Buy Round podcast. He just basically said that there were some games that was out there, but he wasn't out there. Like, it was weird. He was prioritising off the field rather than on the field type thing, and that larrikin that he became. So I think he's just really driven this year. I would love the fact that maybe he turns into like your main hooker. You save all this money hooker, and he just hits the ground running. How good would that be?
Yeah, well, like we did it last year. Sandon Smith and Mamazelis for ages. Both of them were cheapies at the time. They just were putting enough numbers out that you go, you know what? I don't really need anyone else. Like, this is fine. He could very well be that guy. If he's getting you 45s and 50s here and there, man, like, if that's your starting hooker for 235, like, he won't be that price for long. Frees up a lot of coin.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's get over to the big boppers, front row forward. So Keon Kaloamatangi, 666k. Is that Noman? Who knows? Jai Arrow, 2RF, dual 538k. Tavita Totola, can't wait for hear Jesse talk about this guy, 431k. Sean Kepi, 388k. Leon LeBlanc, 239k. Let's not go there again with TT. I'll save your embarrassment after about this time last year where you were extremely high. Or was it the year before?
Oh, I was going back to 20. What was it? Surely 24.
One of the years you were so high. You were like adamant.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this guy's at 2 front row. He's going to get it done. And then he was basically out the whole year.
Yeah, he did his foot in. He wasn't bad before he, broke his foot to pieces. And then he just hasn't been any good since.
Hasn't been the same.
No good.
Keon, that's the talking point for this group, Jesse.
100%.
And I think his ownership's gone down. I think there's a few people getting off Keon at the moment. 12%. I thought it would have been higher.
100%. I don't understand.
Weird thing at the moment where everyone's starting to say, obviously he signed with the Dragons. Wayne's going to basically be furious with him and he won't give him minutes and stuff like that. I'm telling you right now, Wayne will prioritise winning a premiership this year. And winning a premiership means Keon's their star middle and plays almost as many minutes as possible. We've seen that with the Broncos last year. Didn't mess around with Payne Haas. Knew they needed him on the field. That's similar here to the Bunnies, in my opinion. I don't think Wayne's that solid coach where he'll go, because you've signed a year in basically in advance, see you later type thing, mate. We're talking about a guy that's becoming one of the top 5 sort of props in the game and really that elite middle now. There's no way he all of a sudden goes, oh, no, you can just have that 1 30-minute stint and see you later type thing. He
Yeah,
wants to
no.
win a comp, which means Keon plays big minutes.
Yeah, 100% he does. And like, if I'm Wayne Bennett, I'm going to break him before he goes to the Dragons. You're going to go there a shadow of a man. You're going to be
Yeah.
wrecked. Yeah,
You're not going to hurt me next year because you won't be
You're
able
not
to play.
exactly. You're going to be destroyed. You're going to need a whole season off. So, yeah, look, if he is exactly what he was last season, he's massive unders, massive unders. He's 666k. Last year, 9 games at prop, admittedly huge minutes, 71 plus. He averaged 80 with a 76 in base power. So he's a big base boy.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's huge. It's massive. It's like, there's only 2 guys higher than him. It was Haas and May. He's not far off him, and he's 200k less. So, yeah.
You're
His
basically
ownership.
starting each week going, I've got this basically guaranteed 80. And how good's that?
Well, that's the thing. Like, as long as he gets the 70 minutes, I think you're right there for it. 1.12 ppm's pretty standard for what you get out of, a front row forward playing 45 minutes, let alone one that's playing almost a whole game. He just doesn't fatigue. He's just got a motor on him, and he looks fit. That was the thing that sort of ticked him off last year too, is he just looks really, really good. Lean, fast. Yeah. And I think early days in the team builder, I had him as my number 2. Lately, I've been thinking about having him as my number 1, but I just don't know how I can not have Haas in my team.
Yeah.
It's just scary to not, that's not a one I want to antipod. So, yeah, it's kind of tricky. You either get Haas and him, or you sacrifice Haas's points and hope that he does the same thing, which you might not be far away. Like, we really might not be. Like, we're not seeing many games of a sample size from him as a prop. There's 9 from last year. I know there's probably more going back a little earlier into the seasons prior, and I will have a quick squiz right now. There's 11. He's got 11 games at prop, listed at prop itself. And again, it doesn't change a lot. It's 76.91 in 72.5 minutes. So, still plus positive ppm. You could justify it.
Put together this 12%. I have a feeling it might be because he's that awkward price, because of, you're either, like you said, you literally, majority of us we speak to and put their team suited, their legends and stuff like that, it's Haas. And then there's people going all the way down to like Mooney and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I spend the extra, 260k basically to go Keon, which most people don't have a spare 260k at the moment. So you're going, yeah, look, Trey Mooney might not go 80, but there's a big possibility that Trey Mooney is going to start this season going well and above his price tag and be enough to be that second front row forward for a lot of people out there. So maybe just there's a lot of people out there thinking like that, just going, I just can't get Keon in my team at this stage. I think many out there are kicking themselves for it. They would all love to have him, but it's just that weird little, weird little moment with him that he's just so awkwardly priced for, in a weird way to start.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, and it's funny too, because like I remember last year he was only a 2RF, and I was like begging and screaming and kicking walls down, hoping he gets a dual front row. Now he's a front row, and I don't have him in the front row anymore. It's like there's nothing that's changed. Well, I got Murray back, so maybe there's a bit more minute split. Maybe he doesn't play 70 anymore. That's the risk. I'm not worried about what he can do in the time he gets. I'm just worried about how much time he gets on the field. Like if that 70 drops to a 55 or a 60, his points drop to what he's priced at currently, and then there's not upside value in him. There's just good points. Well, that's all right. I'll take good points, but if I'm going to get that for just good points, then give me like a Carrigan with a great run all the way through to the Origin series and dual position, or Mooney, who's probably got upside. What I was thinking, the way that I kind of justify it to myself in that front row position is I have Haas and Mooney. That's my front row. It's about 1.2 mil, just slightly over. For what I expect out of them, I'd be hoping for at least 120, 130 points. And it's pretty much like an 80-50 split, if that's the case, between what Haas and Mooney will do. Yeah. If I look at the price tag of him, and for example, Toby Couchman, or even less with a Hopgood, for example, how much points is they going to get as a net between the two of them? If I get Keon, who's putting out 75, and I'm expecting 85 out of Haas for 200k difference, I can then invest extra 100, 150k maybe from Mooney into Couchman, who I think is going to average 65 as well. Overall, you start realizing, okay, I'm getting more points here because I'm not spending this 850k on Haas. and hoping this 400k guy does the difference. You could definitely come down 200k down to a Keon, put another 200k into number 2, and all of a sudden you've had the same value spent here, but you have an even point spread for 2 guys that are really good. It's just not Haas. That's the problem. And like, is it worth it? I genuinely think it is. I just don't know if it's worth anti-potting 60% for Payne Haas. It's scary in itself. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to start the season sitting behind the couch because I don't have Payne Haas. I can't do it to myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to jeopardise the start of my year where the fact that Payne Haas is one of the top captaincies for the first 5 weeks of the competition normally at the start of the year. I can't do it. But this might help a few people as well because we'll go into 2RS. Tallis Duncan, 595k. Cam Murray, 548k. Ewan Aitken, 542k. Jairo, already spoke about him just before. David Fafita, 485k. Lockie Hubner, 453k. Adam Elliott, 405k. Well, there's 2 I want to talk about really here, Jesse. I think it's pretty clear. I'm going to leave the obvious last. Cam Murray first at 548k. Only 20% owned at the moment. I was a bit surprised when I just seen that number a bit before. I thought it would have been a little bit higher. Obviously, coming back from a pretty decent injury, he's now had basically a full preseason to get everything right and things like that. We haven't heard anything about him missing anything, so he's been there basically the whole time. I feel like any other season we were able to grab Cam Murray at 548k,
you're doing it
all over it. And at the moment, it feels like I had him to start with. I now don't, and I don't get why I don't have him.
I don't have him, and to be fair, I haven't really had him at all.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is, how many second rows do you want from the Rabbitohs in your team, especially when you're coming up to a bye in round 4 with a thin bench in your 2RF? You got to bench both of them. That's my concern. That's my concern, genuinely, because I'm not having Dave Fafita for his price. 2RF benchies at the moment, we don't really know. And if you're putting maybe 400k, if you've got Stewart and McEwen on your bench, happy days. You've got money spread and you're fine. If you don't, and you're like me with a Paxton, Cooper Bye, just, scraping for coin, I'm not doing that in round 4. I'm just not doing it because I've got other Rabbitohs in my team and I will be having a bad week that round. So just got to think ahead, look ahead. Don't stack yourself in one particular position. I think I've said this on pods in the past. I have no issues with having many from the same team if you've got the coverage. It's when they're in the same position that makes it makes it tricky because 2RF, if you're running a Fafita and a Murray, for what I said, please make sure you have 2 second rowers to replace them in round 4 before your team value's gone up to get anyone viable. It's just, you realize it catches up, and then you
don't
want
to go that deep this early in Supercoach as well with your positions. So
yeah, 100%. Like, wait later in the year when you've got squad value and you've got coin and you've maybe got a 500k guy sitting in your bench that you're not using, not even with a reserve. You've got depth. Yep. We don't have depth to start unless you're clever budgeter. But yeah, that's the only reason. And I kind of just want to see how he comes back. It's been long enough. I don't think there's much to doubt with him. You saw many other players come back from injury and everything else, and they're fine. Cam Murray's a talent. It'd just be good to see him back again. But yeah, 540, it's a good price. 20% ownership's pretty high considering. But yeah, just are those people running both Fafita and him? I would have to say so. I
wouldn't be shocked if after that first bye that they have, and he starts quite well, we've seen enough. There'll be many of us jumping on him and getting him in that side, in our side straight after that sort of bye period. So I'm keen to see what can happen, I guess.
Yeah, well, there is other players in this position outside of just the 2 of Fafita and Murray that are impressive. I will talk about Fafita now because we've just sort of spoken on him, but 57% owned, 485k. It's an absolute no-brainer. It is 57%. What are the other people doing? Like, with what we have at 2RF, what are you doing not having Fafita in your team? I just don't get it. This
Not
guy's
believing the hype.
what hype? Well, there's nothing to believe. If anything, like he's underpriced. He's already underpriced. That's not in the conversation. You're not worried about him coming out and averaging 40. What is that? 49? 48? Come on, man. Like he's never not done that. Last year he did that and he was basically getting exiled. He didn't even want to be there and he still averaged 50. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just madness. He should be the highest player owned. I just don't see why not. In 2024 he averaged 76. In 23 he averaged 81. Like, we're getting him half price. I'll take two, man. Give me two of him.
And he's going to a left edge that will feature Cody Walker, Latrell Mitchell, Alex Johnston doing things.
Yeah, it's just there's not much more to say. I'm sure everyone listening to this has listened to, countless other podcasters ramble on about Fafita. Just get him. Just get him. You've got a discount. Like, it's a gift. That's all it is. It's just a gift this year. And thank you very much for making it happen. So, another player, if you have anything else to add on him, honestly.
I just wanted to say for those, so at the moment there's 43% that aren't doing it. So they're obviously not believing the hype, or they obviously have last year in their minds. And I want to just applaud the size of your balls because it's a massive ballsy play. One that I just do not want to be risking. I want to be all over him from the start because he's one of those guys that he could literally, after the year that he's had, he wants to probably come back, hit the ground running. There is a world that he could start the first week or two. And against the Dolphins, you probably could argue that their edges may be one of their weaker sort of points, the Dolphins, when it comes to like their edge back rollers. There's a realistic world where he starts with 100 for feeder. I don't want to be risking not even having that, so I can't do it. Chance. I'd have to start him.
How many back rowers are you going to get at sub 500k that can average 80?
Yeah, none.
None. Absolutely none.
None.
Yeah, come on. Just get him.
Yeah.
Dude, Tallis Duncan. Mate, he went on an absolute tear last year. I had him in my draft. He was freaking good, man. He was so good. There was a stint, I think it was around 14, 15 to about the end of the year where he just went into another gear. He just woke up. He actually got trusted with his position, his favoured position, and he killed it. So, yeah, it was around 14 when he got that 70. It was a 113, a 134, 105 shortly after, and then two late scores of 105 and 115. Astronomical, man. And 595. Very good. He started the year to start was quite poor from him, up to round 11. He wasn't doing a lot. If you bear with me, I'll find out what he was averaging. Up to round 11, he was averaging 39. And then all of a sudden, towards the end of the year, pretty much from that point onwards, he basically doubled his output at least. I think there was that period for the 10 rounds where he was averaging about 82, with about 5 tons in that as well. So, very good. I think if he's just going to be like that now, he's obviously stepped up into that position, had the responsibility, got that gear. 595k, I've got my eye on him. It's just, again, more Rabbitohs. It's just too many Rabbitohs. You can't have both edges. But just have to commend him, eh? It was just such a good run from him. It saved my draft. I picked him up late. He was fantastic. And I think he's going to have a lot of draft value as well. I think you're going to get him late, to be fair. People won't be backing him.
Tallis, thanks for saving Jesse's draft. Just what we all needed. Thank you very much. It was
good,
awesome.
Sir. He's in my good graces always. Honestly, I've got a soft spot for him for life. Thank you, Tallis Duncan.
Piss off, Tallis Duncan. I'm going to own you now out of spite.
More for me.
Halfbacks, Jamie Humphries out for a few weeks, so we're not going to go there. Ashton Ward, 346k. Jaden Sullivan reported he will get the jersey to start with. 5'8" Jewel, 270k. And Jonah Glovett, 5'8" Jewel as well, 201k.
Glover.
Yeah, if there's a... Is that what I said?
I said Glovett.
Oh, Glover, sorry. Glover. That's a bit of Monday fatigue.
There you go.
Yeah. Face like a bitch.
Deserve it. There's not much going here, man. Honestly, Humphries, not in a halfback position with what we've got. There's just nothing, really, is there? Like, we're not talking about these guys. I'm sorry.
Go
They're
on.
not viable.
See you later. I want to talk about this position, though, 5'8". Cody Walker, 399K. I think last year he had the halfback duel as well. He doesn't have no duel anymore.
You have the
22%
bench
owned.
duel.
22% owned. Let me just, again, guys, I just don't think I need to do this anymore. I think we've got enough loyal listeners who've listened way too long now. Love you for it. But you all know the hatred. It's literally the word hatred that Jesse has for this guy. So he's going to basically palm him off and tell you, no. But look, I'll try and be the sensible one here tonight. I'll try and be the Trav because I know Trav would have liked to have spoken about him. Jesse, can you at least put some kind of hat on and take away the pain he's caused you over the last few years in Supercoach?
Sure.
$399K on the left edge. You just spoke how good this left edge is.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're trying to tell me you don't want the guy that's going to be feeding them all? He could easily go through every game having 4 or 5 try assists.
What's changed?
Try assists.
What's changed, realistically? Okay, we've got Latrell in the centres. That's cool.
And you got David Fafita.
And you got David Fafita. Okay.
What do you mean what's changed?
Very, very
good. 2 key
good.
changes.
Yeah, 2 key changes, right? It doesn't stop him getting his calf niggle and playing half a season.
That's 1 year now. It's only 1 year.
Okay. Look. If you put it out there, right? Okay, go back 3 years. Cody Walker was fantastic, and you go back 10 years before that, and he was, probably top 2 5'8" in the game. That's a long time ago. Okay, the future is now, Joel. It's not happening. It's just not happening.
You just gave me Fafita stats from 3 years ago.
Yeah, but
he was.
There's nothing that's changed with Fafita. He's in his prime, his peak, and he's coming into a position where he's been given a new lease on life.
Walker's peaking. He's coming into his peak.
Yeah, as peak grandfather. You know what?
Trav,
Cody genuinely, sorry, if you listen, mate, there's nothing personal, genuinely. It's just numbers. It's Supercoach, and it's just been torched. Look, I can see it. In the 5'8" position, I can see it. 100%. $399, we're missing something there. You have to. Like, something's got to give cost-wise. If everyone's got Peasant, it's very hard to find another 200K to get a good 5'8". At the top of the pack there. You're going to have Dylan Brown, 130K more. I would find it. Very much so. I would find that 130K. 100K more, you're getting it Sandon Walker, potentially goal kicking. I just don't like. It's a hard one. He'll average a 40. That's a 40 for him, right? He started off with a 28 round 1. Okay, and you're expecting this edge to just go bang, 100%. And so am I. I'm expecting it too, and I'll be honest. I think Fafita and Latrell and Johnson, they're all going to get in, and they're all going to do heaps. How much can he do as well? They don't all get points. He'll be a part of it. I think he'll be probably a good part of it. There'll be a lot going on, especially early without a halfback. I think he's going to be involved quite a lot. I'll be honest.
He'll get try assists and try involvements. So
yeah, he'll get his involvements. Yeah, so it'll go from one to the next, unless it goes to him, to Fafita, to Latrell, to Johnston. He ain't getting anything from that point. So, yeah, look, I think there's a lot on that left edge that can be a hindrance for him if it plays all the way through from him to the left and there's no sweeper involved and he's part of it. He might get 4 points just by being part of it. But, yeah, I don't know. I just don't see the name in headlights. I really don't. And it's not me being a hater. I just know how the scores come. They are not good. The Rabbitohs can be fantastic and put on, a 45-point game, and he can still finish on a 35-point Supercoach score. And you're like, you actually got 2 assists and got 35 points. You know what I mean? Like, the base is pretty much non-existent. Your base is 14. So it may as well be nothing at that point. You're really hoping there's attack. He has to have solid attack and assists and everything to give him a respectable score. Okay, that's why I am not about it, because you got to worry about a lot to go right for him, and then you got to worry about him actually finishing the game. But for 400K, if it's got to be, it's got to be. Hey, that's my part.
I'll agree with that last bit. If it's got to be, it's got. I don't think he's the worst option out there.
No.
And I think when you take into account the price point and things like that, I don't mind. I did have him to start with. I have since changed. I've obviously gone down to that Peasant play, which I do like at this stage, but I am getting a little bit nervous about the fact I've got basically 2 super cheap 5/8s and I'm stuck very quickly if that goes wrong. So
Yeah,
I am still trying to look at ways to get out of that. I don't like it. I'm hoping that that Brown duel happens and I'll just force my way to make something in other positions to get Dylan Brown in. I think he'll be sensational at 5/8, but I don't hate the Cody Walker play anywhere near as much as Jesse does. So just try and
yeah.
balance it out there. Hopefully you're proud, Trav. Let us know.
Let us know. See if you can get more than
Um,
11 games. That's the
yes.
start. Get more than 11 games and score 50 more than 3 times in a season. I'll consider it.
Centre wings. So Alex Johnston, very close to breaking his record. They're going to be going to him every single chance that they get to start the year. So he will have a number of tries for sure. They want to break this ASAP, so 650K. Latrell Mitchell, 626K. Centre wing only, guys. No fullback this year. Not at all. But there obviously is the openness. He can get that duel if he ends up going back there. But from all reports, he is literally a centre this year. Jack Whiten, 441K. Tyrone Munro's obviously in a bit of trouble, so no go there. Campbell Graham, 431K. Who knows when he will be back? He's another one of those sort of injured guys, unfortunately. Isaiah Tass, injured as well. Edward Corsi came over from the Warriors. Really little underrated signing there. He's a good little talent. See what he can do there. 354K in Bailey, Bentley, Harper, 317K. The biggest talking point here, or there's really 2. Campbell Graham's one, Jesse, but I haven't looked at him once yet, just because I don't like you. What you just said then about Cody Walker is basically how I feel here for Campbell Graham. While his body's just all over the shop, still by reports not 100% fit. Still don't know if he'll make the round 1 side at this stage. I just can't go anywhere near him yet. At the moment, 13% have. I'm actually surprised so many have put some faith in him.
Yeah, I think they're putting faith in him because there's no one else at 430K, man.
Mm.
There's a black hole there as well, like the 5/8 position at 400K. It's uncomfortable. You kind of just want to find coin and get away from it if you can because it's not worth anything. Like you're not going to go anywhere from that. Potentially, you might even go down. And that's not what you want, really. Like with with Campbell Graham last season, obviously he came back from that sternum injury, I think it was, and it just really romped him. For 2024, he was gone the entire season. The season before that, he averaged 68. So it was fresh in our minds. And even last year, I had Campbell Graham to start. I expected, at least something from him. It didn't really happen. That 44 average is 44 in base power. He scored no tries. He assisted nothing. There was 0 attack from him in the entire season. He played 11 games at centre. Where
There's
was it?
talk
Yeah.
he'll be a winger. When he does play, he'll be on the wing. So
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I was going to get into that. So you get this idea, like, cool, winger. Maybe there's something here. Maybe he's going to be better. Statistically, much poorer than he is on the centres. Much poorer. If he's playing in the wing, no chance, man. I don't want any part of it. I don't want to know about it. He's not going to come near my team. He's got a base and power, so including the tackle bust or floaters kind of thing. 28. It's a poor base power for any winger really, like especially a busy one. He averaged 42. It's less than what he's currently priced at, and that's off a poor season with no attack. So yeah, and that's in 46 games on the wing as well. This is a very large sample size for him as a winger. It's not
it's
good.
so unfortunate, isn't it? Like it's one of those guys where, as he got that injury, he was starting to make. I think he made that Australian.
Oh, he was flying.
He made something. Yeah, he was flying. He was one of the form centers of the competition. And all of this has happened over the last 2.5 years now. It feels like it's
Yeah.
just been really unfortunate. But the big one to talk about here, Latrell Mitchell, 626K, 36% owned. I don't know if I'm crazy or not, Jesse. I've not owned Latrell once, and I just have absolutely no interest in him.
I have, when his ownership was 10% higher. Now that I see it on the decline, I'm like happy to get off. Hey, I'm just keen to see how it goes down, see how it plays out. He's obviously the calf injury, Neil, that he's just picked up in the last week. It's probably deterred a few people as well, because then you just go, oh, we're doing this again. It's another preseason. It's another calf niggle. It's another problem. It's another injury. It's the same song and dance every time, and I'm just at that point, the 36% can have him.
Yeah.
Like go for it. You can have him in your team. I don't think it's going to be damaging enough at the center to really ruin your day. I think you could probably get away with it, honestly. At 636, like there's a lot of dudes in that mid 600s that I'm like so hot and heavy for. It doesn't have to be him. Like you can definitely get around it. If you want a goal kicking center for mid 600s, get a Zarko. Save some coin. You know what I mean? Like there's options. And good run
And
too.
there's a lot of Kool-Aid getting drunk here, I feel like, when it comes to Latrell in this centre. And
It's big hype.
there is a lot of hype. I just need to know that Latrell's in the right mind frame to be one of the best centers that he used to be. Like that's a big one where we're talking a number of years ago.
Roosters,
Latrell. Yeah, like he was a really good center at the back there. Some people have brought up Origin, but to be honest with you, I don't think he's actually owned Origin the way he should have over the last year or two. I think he's actually been quite poor is not the right word, but he just hasn't been what I would have liked him to be. But probably give credit more so to the Queensland centers who have been really good at nullifying him. But
yeah,
that's another point there is that we've got a lot of really good centers in our game at the moment, even from a Supercoach point of view, where I just think he gets overshadowed in a way. Like there's a lot more around this sort of guy price point wise. I'm even happy to go a bit higher price wise and get more of those guys that I know are just legit in their positions. I know what I'm going to get from them. There's going to be games where I'm still in that mind frame where I have a feeling Latrell might just sit in centre sometimes and just go, oh, I don't really want to be today. And all of a sudden you're sitting there getting 20. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah. Sweet.
I don't know if it'll be that bad, genuinely. Like he's obviously going to be goal kicking. You're expecting more points out of him. That edge is going to be busy. He's going to tackle bust because he just does, especially in the centres. He is going to be okay, I think. I think it's the injury thing that kind of gets you a little bit, and the effort. It's an effort thing, but if the game doesn't go there, which there's no way the game's not going left for the Rabbitohs, he's going to have to do something. And if it gives him more of a break to do something more damaging whenever he does, finally get his hands on the ball, that's where the points are for him at fullback. That's kind of what you're going to get out of him in the one. So it's not going to change a lot if he's just got a 3 on his back. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit different, but a career average of 64 as a center in 58 games. A lot of that, obviously, with the Roosters. In his best seasons, he was averaging 70, 2019 as a center. And then all of a sudden, we know Latrell's a fullback. He's an 80-plus average. Like, that's what you want, like, ideally. And unfortunate for my current fullback in my team and who will be starting for them in Jai Gray, if Latrell does go back to fullback, 100% buy him because he's got a dual center. And that's where you want that valuable position. You want the fullback in the centers. You don't really want the center in the center if you can avoid it. So I think, you just buy it. Like, I still see the buy. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Like, I see it. The ownership's there. The hype is there. You drink the Kool-Aid. You see what happens. I just don't think you can. It's not a must by any means.
Yeah, I don't.
You can go around it. You can find someone else as an alternative if you're literally just buying him to be part of that pack. That over 1/3 of the game that has Latrell Mitchell. Sweet. If you love him that much and you want to roll the dice, fair enough. But yeah, it's not by any means a bust, I reckon.
Yeah, I might be coming across a little bit too harsh here, but I just see that 36%. And in my eyes, when it comes to Supercoach, I feel like that's a really high percentage for a player, and I just don't have him in that category. As I almost see 36% as a lot of people saying he's basically a must-have, sort of on that edge of that sort of category, and I just don't see that at all. So
at that price, yeah, 36% at 626K is a lot. There's not many. You're talking, elite guys at that point in time. Like 600 plus is big money to spend on anyone this year. You're committing. He's going to be probably your second, maybe. Most expensive center.
We've got a couple of players who are a little bit under him in To'o and Tamale, who we know what they're going to basically produce each and every week. We don't even have to question it. So I'd be rather going to those guys. You're saving a little bit of money, and you're getting 2 guys who are very, very ultra consistent with the workload that they get through week in, week out. So center, fullbacks. You mentioned him, Jai Gray, 560K. He's got that number 1 jersey on lock now. We've obviously seen the preseason video. He's just singing that "Man I Need" song. That was great. That was great vibes. That just for me sums up. He's in for a massive 2026. That alone has me very tempted just to go on him, just to go. Let's ride this "Man I Need" and Jai Gray. You are it. But he's only 7%. Lots of positive around the South Sydney Rabbitohs. What we've spoken about so far. he's a gun. He does it from both sides of the ball as well. A lot of people underestimate his defensive side as well, but we really care about the attacking stuff. He floats up everywhere, and I feel like having such a stacked, say, left edge can also help this Jai Gray a lot because he can just chime in. He can just chime in, be that support guy. I can see him getting a lot of those tries where it's just literally that inside ball back to Jai Gray who goes under the post type thing. So I don't have him. I haven't actually had him in my team yet, but he's a guy that I'm extremely tempted to pull that trigger on. But having three guys around that sort of price tag in fullback does terrify me a little bit, Jesse.
Yeah, I've got him. Hey, I've
Yeah.
it's him and Keeney, to be honest, at the moment for me, and I've kind of worked out money elsewhere. Obviously not including the flex. My flex isn't even a fullback anymore. Um, so I really like it. Honestly, I think we're going to get to a point maybe around 6, 7, 8 where we're looking at Jai Gray averaging 65, 68 points and just going, yeah, he did it.
Sweet.
Far out. Look at that. Reliable, solid, good base of power of 44 in from last year. In games that he played 80 minutes, he averaged 68 points. Um,
Yep.
his price dropped because, Latrell basically, and he was playing off the bench and he got these little 15-minute runs here and there. And to start the year, I'm pretty sure he was leading the Dally M. It's like, you know, you can get this guy for 560, and this is kind of where the value sits at fullback for me. Like this is kind of where Fuller wants to fall into play if he comes into position. Then I've got to really contemplate which way I'm going. Same thing with Sewer. Like it's a good spot for fullbacks. There's good value there. I like him for value. I really do. I think he's got enough effort, and he's such a goer, and he just puts his head where you don't want to put anything. Like that's what you want out of your fullback, man. You don't want a guy that's just going to chime in for a try after a full set. Once everyone's done the hard work, he does the hard work and he gets into it as well. So I really like it. I would say probably 100k underpriced for what he can do at fullback. I don't know if he's got too much more. I'm not going to be unrealistic and say he's going to average 80. That he might. You might for a short stint. You might have a really high average because you might get a ton or two tries or something. But I think realistically, he's probably going to be that 68 like he did last year in those games. And I'm fine with a 100k jump, especially to start. Like you just, money's tight. Find the value where you can. I like it a lot. I think the only risk for him is that if, again, Wayne changes it up and he punts him back and Latrell goes in. But I don't know if that's going to happen this season.
Yeah, I am getting more and more tempted. So watch this space, guys. Maybe make sure you become a legend. Obviously, not just the magazine side of things, but you get to know all of our moves each and every week from a Supercoach point of view, what we're doing, updated teams and things like that. We're actually probably due to upload one of our
Yeah.
recent teams where things are at. So a good time to be part of that, especially for all you Supercoach lovers out there. So yeah, I'm gonna have a big look over that in the next few days, hopefully, and yeah, he's definitely piqued my interest. But apart from that, I think it's very clear there that South Sydney are a huge team.
Mm.
Supercoach wise this year, another team where you basically get on early, but just be mindful, like Jesse said, doubling up in positions for the bunnies and making sure you do have that coverage. We're not saying not to do it at all. Like you can, but you just need to guarantee you've got some really good coverage on the bench, which at this time of year is extremely difficult to do. So just, play it wisely
Mm.
would just be
That's it.
our only advice for the
Yeah.
bunnies. The West Tigers, so the last team, so their first five is the round one, obviously the bye. Round two, the Cowboys at Leichhardt. Round three, the Bunnies at Gosford. Round four, the Warriors at Go Media Stadium. And round five, that Easter Monday clash against the Eels at Combank Stadium. They've got no injuries to be concerned about at all at the moment. A full bill of health there. A few people message about the Terrell May stuff. Who knows what was happening there? But everything's back on now. He's got his social media, everything. And the only weird thing was I haven't really seen him in any pictures in this preseason so far. So
It's a ghost.
still, there's just something weird going on. But no, I don't know. There's just something going on. But let's just I guess the snapshot for it, and just to basically go about the Tigers, it's going to be hard. We won't talk too much about him tonight because it's going to be something, because this round one bye really does hurt. And let Jesse sort of talk about that a little bit more, and the Supercoach factor in. I think what we're learning with buys as well, it's getting a little bit less that impact and that scare factor, but it's just there. That round one is just one of those ones where you want to have basically your full squad there playing. And the risk factor of maybe you'll start one of these guys going, oh, it's all right, I'll just put him on the bench for the first week. Then all of a sudden he's not named or something like that. You're like, oh, shit, okay, I've stuffed myself. I could have had a guy who's played now the last 2 weeks, and this guy hasn't played at all. So there's just a few things that not quite good with the Tigers to start with, Jesse, but I've got no doubt you and Trav will obviously talk about him throughout the early rounds when they do become a bit more relevant. But just tonight, there'll probably be a couple of players we discussed, but that's about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we know the good Tigers. Terrell May is number one. Like, he's better than 98% of Supercoach, to be fair. Like, he's that good. It's a lot of money to spend on front row if you're not using him in round one. That's the problem. You're tossing up, what is he, 130 odd K off the top of my head, more than Keon. And people aren't getting him because he's awkward priced. There's just no space for him. It's the worst. Round one, it's like, oh God, you just can't do it. You find a way to get him quite soon, I would say. But just in general, like, there's a couple of Tigers that are super relevant, I think. There's a couple of dudes that I'm very keen on in due time. I won't start with them. And it's literally just a budget allocation thing. I'm not putting that much coin into a guy I'm not going to be able to use in round one. It's really good for the pod ownership in round two. But again, you're right in what you said too, and like, well done to it. You don't know if they're going to get picked, especially when it comes to the centers and the wingers. And if you're taking a punt on a cheapie, that's fine because they're cheap. It's just elsewhere, like how much coin can you spend and try and justify. The other thing is that there's no price rise for round four. That's when you'll get the price jump. So you do have the week off. Like, if you want to get them after the bye, give them a run, give them 2 weeks to see how they look and if they're any better, and then you can buy them, and then they're the only team going up in price that week, provided everyone's played 3. So, yeah, you give yourself a free look without having to really go overs. But, yeah, if you're taking the punt on a Terrell May in round one and you're just stashing him on the bench, man, fair play. Yeah, that's insane. But, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen him in teams before. And then they've got Paseka and Mooney or something, or they're playing their bench guy, which is fine. Like, you're going to get him flex out anyway. Someone's got to flex out. If your flex out is going to be your FRF3 that you've got there holding as a placeholder for Terrell May, who nobody has, and 60+% have paying halves, and then the script flips all of a sudden, the regression, everything's like, whoa, we're out of nowhere. Man, you're up one. So there's a lot of things to change here. There's a lot of moving parts, but yeah, 800K, not for round one, not for me.
Yeah, even like you mentioned a bit before, even the cheapy side of things. Obviously, if we're talking center wings, we're talking about Macassini. There's even a chance he doesn't get named in round two. They are patient with him, and then all of a sudden, there's already some really good cheapies coming out at the moment that are likely to get starts in round one. So you're going all your eggs in one basket on this guy, where you could miss out on one or two of these guys who actually do get the start and are guaranteed that early spot. So it's a really hard one to balance up. And
the draw's good.
The draw is
after round
decent,
one.
So.
Their draw is fantastic. That's the thing. That's the killer too. Like, God, you just nerfed them in round one, so people can't start with these dudes. But they go into the Cowboys at home and then the Rabbitohs away. But it's in Gosford anyway, so. They've got that away game against the Warriors, and then they play the Eels and the Knights. Like, that's a pretty decent run for the first 5 actual games.
And they'll be a decent team this year. They're not one of those easy beat teams really anymore. So,
well, defensively, they didn't. There were positions that they really leaked hard, but they didn't make it easy all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just expect improvement naturally. So yeah, I'm keen on some, but we'll get into them.
Hooker. Abby Coruscant is really the only talking point, 541K, but that's a big fat no. So let's just move on. Front row forward. There's a few here. So Terrell May, 811K. Alex 12, 488K with the 2RF duel. Fanil Pole, 421K. I feel like he had a much better year than an average of 43 last year. I feel like he had that's an interesting one.
You're a big fanboy of him.
Oh, yeah, I love him. I think he's a really, really good player. Potentially, obviously, one of those guys that just Supercoach doesn't equate to. just does something to me. Sione Fainu with that duel of 2RF as well. Bunty Afoa and Royce Hunt at 235k each, the two big boppers. Both apparently fit as a fiddle. Yes, we're saying that once again about big boys killing it in preseason. Who would have thought that storyline there? But yeah, they're both doing things. Sorry to say, but Royce Hunt is now on my blacklist. He's just never, ever getting picked in my side ever again after last year and just being there from start to finish. Goodness me, what a ride it was. And then he actually delivered on the 1 week I actually needed him to. So
Yeah,
shout
he
out to
did.
your big boy.
He scored 2
But
tries.
yeah, that was something from the Supercoach gods. That was
It really
sensational.
was.
But yeah, I'm not interested in any of them apart from obviously you've already mentioned as well the Terrell May chat, which I feel like's now been done. But even the others, like I'm just not interested. So
Yeah, it's you know what? I'd throw Bunty Afoa in there for 235. Man, cult hero. Why not? Just nuff him out round one. Yeah, look, Terrell May, got to mention him. Like we have to. He's a freak, man. Averaged 83. He did it in an average of 72 in a bit minutes. So very, very good. His base power was 80, second to only Haas. So yeah, look, there's all merit in getting him to start with. He scored 1 try as well. So like he was just a freak, and he just plays the whole game. He'll just play the entire game. You're gonna want him pretty quickly.
yeah,
You're gonna want him. I don't think there's much around it. The ideal is to have both him and Haas up front. I just don't think you can do it to start with. We're trying to find coin elsewhere. Like we're really trying to find even 50k can like change everything. So when you see what he's at, and you go, well, you're not having him and Haas to start. You're just not doing that. And if you are doing that, please reconsider, and then have a look at your overall squad because I'm sure it sucks elsewhere. You can go down from him to Keon. Go down from him to Keon. Run Keon until the round 4 bye. Switch up to Terrell May. You know what I mean? You're going to help one right on the buy. You're going to get one, get rid of him on that buy round, and you're going to buy the other guy before his price changes, providing it doesn't go up. But it's hard to go up from 80. The only thing you're really thinking again is like, and looking at this squad list, I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think he plays the minutes still.
yeah, he has to.
He has to. I don't see a drop here. In output, in effort, in what he's got to do, I think he's just going to be what Terrell May is, and we saw what he was at the Roosters too. He came into the Tigers, and it's like, well, okay, he's given him the full game. He's given him the whole game to get everything done. He's going to have to do that again. We're going to get the same Terrell May again. I just think that the expectation of their aggression from him, I just think it's a little unrealistic that he's going to drop significant enough to be like 150k less. I don't think so. I think at worst he's 75, and he's 1 point per minute, not 1.2, because he's definitely going to get these minutes. So
He's even more important to start the year because the points are at a premium. Like we've consistently said, some of the centre wings and stuff like that, not quite there. We've seen in the past with super coaches where you know for a fact like these front rowers just get through their work from the start. So especially those like Payne Haas, Terrell May, and the like, just go in and like they never stopped. So it's a weird one because it is one of those ones where you do want him basically as soon as you can get him. Bit like you said, you don't really want to have that 811k on the bench to start. So.
yeah,
Good luck. I don't know if we've done too much to help you with that.
just get him early. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to get him early. I'm not too worried about it. I'll find a way.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think when it comes to predicting the future and which cheapie is going to make me the most coin early on, da 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 da. I think one of my first large early investments will be him. Like it's going to be him because I won't start with him.
Has to be.
If I end up going for Tino gets a dual front row, sweet. I'll plug him up in my front row with Haas, and I'll just have a really really good looking one. Um, I'll flip a 2RF away and I'll move Tino down or something. There's going to be so many avenues and so many opportunities that arise with an injury somewhere where you go, sweet, I'll just get Terrell May now. You do it then. You just don't do it to start.
Yeah. Let's go to our F. So Kai Pearce Paul, new recruit, 604k. Samuel Finu, 508k. Alex Seyfarth, 492k. And I'm going to save my voice and not talk about anyone else on that list. No interest at all. I'm happy to move on.
Yeah, I am too. I will be watching Kai Paul.
Mm.
I think he'll be pretty good for the Tigers, to be honest. I think he's got
Because
a good
given the
game.
freedom, he could
Yeah.
be a talking point in early rounds.
Yes, I think so as well. And I like their draw too. So like the Tigers will be super relevant come round 2, I reckon, even round 3. But yeah, he'll be a guy that I'm keen on. I've liked Kai Paul for a couple of years now. So yeah, if he gets the opportunity that Terrell May got to really show himself off, he's got a lot in his pocket. So yeah, could be something.
Halfback Adam Dwayhe or
Well,
Dewey, whatever you want to call him. 556k. No, thank
excuse me?
you.
Hold on. No, rewind. We're talking about Adam Dewey right now. I'm so keen on Adam Dewey, man.
You are.
I'm so keen on Dewey. I am. I've actually put Dewey in a side, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to have him as a round 1 blank, and I'll play Sanders round 1.
So are you
I'm
having
not
him?
joking.
Obviously, after are you having him as your first choice halfback? Like that's how high you are.
I
Like you're
I
going
think he
in. That's your
I,
answer to be not with Cleary or Hines.
I think you can. I
Okay.
genuinely think you can. I would
I
play him
did
as a
not
second.
expect this.
I would put him there as my second guy on the bench, and then I'm like, oh, geez, I don't want to. Yeah, I feel like you need to for squad balance. You need to throw in a Sanders or an Atkinson or a Cheapy somewhere, and I don't want him in my
Mm.
flex. Um, I'm happy to play one of them elsewhere. Like it's fine for round 1 to plug a hole, but dude, Dewey is a gun. He is so good. The only thing that stops him is his body. He just gets injured, and they're big ones. But as a halfback, like he's going to be a goal kicking half too, mind you. So there's a lot here for him. Halfback, goal kicking. Last year he played 5 games, averaged 65. Just take away last year, and he's a 70-point averaging halfback with goal kicking. Career stat 69.1. Um,
What
without
a
goal
number.
kicking, he's a 60-point halfback. He's always been a 5'8" dual, or he's always had his
Mm.
5'8" positioning is where I've always gone. And if he's there for me to put fit Adam Dewey into my 5'8", I've done it every time. Yeah, him goal kicking, please, for 550k. Yeah, dude, I'm super considering something here. Hey, I just got that. You just get that vibe, that feeling about it. I had the same thing when I looked at Cobbo earlier too. Yeah, there's something with Dewey. If he can stay fit,
A Jesse vibe play,
yeah,
guys. Which,
the
to be
stamp of
fair, going
approval.
off
Boom.
history, is a pretty good avenue to base some picks off. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
keen. Hey,
I'm watching that space.
mm,
Yeah, I wasn't quite. I just was happy to just skip through, but
he's a 70-point halfback. That's the thing,
and
and
with a
that's
decent draw to start with as well, like he should get some stuff happening. So
yeah. Well, like you look at a few of his scores last year from round 16. I'll just call it from round 16. Probably that's when he went
yeah.
into the halves. 68, 76, 66, 110, 51, 45, 105, 111. Yeah,
Talk dirty to me. All right, let's rephrase what I said earlier.
1%,
Adam
1%
Dwyer
owned.
here is a must-have.
It's a bit of a
I'm
reach.
going from
One to the
one
other.
end to the
Look,
other. So
it's not that bad, but I just think yeah, there's so much merit in getting him. If not starting with him, you can get him early. He's 550. He's not hard. If Moses flops, there you go. You've got your answer to a good halfback. If you want to
safety
go
blanket.
100%, that's it. Like he's the next guy for you
Yeah.
if there's an issue anywhere. And you're going to save coin because you're not really looking any lower than him for a playable halfback. So yeah, if you want to take a punt on Moses for what his value could be, and it just doesn't go the way you planned, go that way. You're not going to get a price
Heck,
change till round 4.
even if
If
Nico doesn't do what he's supposed to do, you can
anyone,
go down. Like anyone, yeah.
anyone, it doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who at all. If you go,
That could
oh,
be your way to Terrell May.
let's exactly right. Let's go. Oh, I'll run with you're going to get Nico or Cleary or something just for the sake of having the best that there is. And you go, well, I'm happy to run these guys for 3-4 rounds and see what happens. Don't hit the stride. About to lose 100k. Jump on Dewey. Get your Terrell May. You've made your money back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see something there for it. There's a play early on for him, coin wise too. So
Well done, mate.
thank you, mate.
That's one of your.
It's one of my guys.
That is a big one. I respect that play. 5'8". Just going to say his name and prices because it's him. Jerome Luai, 465k, but I am moving on. I'm not even going to ask you Jesse, because I
It's
don't
fine.
even want to give you the chance to
No,
change my mind on that one. I'm set.
you've got the floor.
CT Dub, Taylor May, 617k. Gerald Skelton, 494k. Stafford Toa, 484k. Sania Taruva, 460. Luke Laulili, 246k. Hamasi Makasini, 235k. Here's the big one, I think, in all of this. 36% ownership at the moment. I had him. I haven't got him now because there has been a couple of good cheapers I mentioned a bit earlier that have now come out effectively almost guaranteed a starting spot, it feels like. So I've got him off him just because of what I said earlier. I just don't want to run the risk of sticking with him. If I have to then make a trade early on and he's named and he's doing well, obviously go over to him. But I just don't want to back myself into that corner round one. So for me, it's just a round 2 watch.
Yeah, I haven't got him in my side at the moment either, and I think it's mainly because he's having this shootout. Is it going to be him? Is it going to be Skelton? Is La Lily going to get a go? There's a lot of options for him. What's your predicted back line for the Tigers?
I've actually just gone the stock standard. So I've gone Taruva one wing with Skelton the other because I actually think a lot of people are pretty harsh on Skelton. He's a really good winger. Like he was
he's
decent.
solid.
He does some really good stuff. I want to see him. He started really well last year, and then he got like a bit of those injuries and stuff, which really mucked him around. I want to see him fully fit, and then obviously I've got Taylor May and Stafford Toa in the centres as well. So
Really
I actually don't have Makasini starting. I heard something the other day about Lau Lily getting a spot, but I think that was because one of those boys were not injured, but they just weren't risking him at that stage. So I don't think Makasini. I know the massive raps on him. I have no doubt at some point this year he will be effectively their almost first choice winger. Probably give or take Taruva because he's a gun. But yeah, I just think they'll go stock standard to start with. I think the Tigers are in a position where they need to get early wins and they need to make sure the pressure gauge is off, obviously with the boardroom crap that's happened in the off season. So yeah,
that's what I would think too. Like I feel like that backline kind of picks themselves. 36% ownership's ambitious. You're kind of hoping. I just don't like praying and punting hopes and dreams on someone that isn't guaranteed a position, especially when they're not playing in round one. Because you're waiting 2 weeks to see if they're even getting a run. It's like, what opportunity have you missed in the meantime? So, yeah, I'm not super keen. Like, I know he had that one game for a 67. I don't have much else going off him in reserve grade or anything. I've got 3 center games from him, averaging 44. One off the bench as well for a 41. So, like, I don't know. I just don't know what to really expect. The raps are high. The raps are really big.
That's the other thing I have heard is he may take Stafford Toa's position, but
that's just rude.
I've actually I rate Stafford Toa. I really think there's a really decent player in Stafford Toa there. So I don't think he's done anything to warrant being dropped at this stage. So.
No. Like if it's going to be anyone, it'll be Skelton. Just mainly because of the injury stuff last season, the run that he got. But even still, I think Skelton's probably the best winger they've got next to Taruva. So
I don't know if you back this advice up, but if you can start without Makasini, do it. And then just if you need to, we can always get onto him. I've got no issue at all getting onto a very cheap CT dub that's about to start and do some things. So
just
not a bad position to be in. Just
pay down. Like you downgrade someone to him. You're like, sweet. He's going to have the extra week before he goes up in price before anyone else does anyway. So, if another cashy doesn't work out, you've got him and you get an extra week to make the play. Like I just wait for trials and team lists and everything. Like it's that'll ownership will definitely change, I reckon.
Yeah. Fullback's the last one of the podcast. Dream Buller, 606k, just in a really weird price now. There's so much value, cheaper, let alone above him as well. He's currently 0%. Mate, I've not once ever looked at Dream Buller. I'm not even going to lie about this. So.
No, I haven't either. And just look who's around him. He's sandwiched between Ponga and Jai Gray. It's like, well, I'll take either of those two, thanks. And that's no knock on Buller either. Like Buller's a pretty solid fullback, but no round one. Like no thanks. I'm not doing that for my fullback. Yeah, you want to play everyone all the time. So yeah,
that's it, guys. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say maybe when he's at the Dragons next year, could be a good option.
Hey, I've heard that's a bit cold water, apparently, according
Oh,
to
really?
Shane Flanagan. But you know what coaches say in the media. That next minute he'll sign next week with them. If they
Exactly.
give him a helicopter, he'll definitely sign with the Dragons. That's give him a
With the
helicopter
Roosters.
ride.
Get a
That's
boat.
it, guys. So the boys will obviously talk about a lot more about the Tigers over the first few weeks. I'm sure about that. We are doing a double up this week. We just mentioned that at the start of this episode. So we'll now go shift from teams. We'll go into positions for a week or two now. So we're going to bundle them all up and we'll rip and tear into them. So good things with this. I know some podcasts start the other way. They'll do positions and things like that. So we normally go in depth, like you all have heard and listened to and loved again this year. So thank you for your support. Obviously, a lot changes though. So now we go and obviously we've heard some rumors and new team lists and things like that. The good thing is we'll obviously have the first four team lists will drop tomorrow as well for the first lot of trials. So you can get little bits of news from all that sort of stuff. So we then talk about all that and what's happening and just a little bit of a different perspective on things, Jesse. We don't go so far breakdown like we are with these ones. We literally are just very much picking what we like and certain prices and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So.
of course. It's positional analysis with everyone in that position, and you're not weighing up like what we're doing here is looking at the team and breaking down the squad. We're looking at player versus player in the same position, and where the value is, where the points are, where the upside is, where the fixtures lie. It's a good one. It'll be a good listen. So.
And for those that love the long ones, it definitely will be long ones as when we haven't finished up on those ones yet. So sorry, Trav, but yeah, we have a couple more coming for you. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, please. It's a good free way of supporting the page and it's giving a little bit of an extra push as we keep going. We're knee deep into stuff at the moment when it comes to Supercoach podcast. Jesse, thank you very much. Trav, get yourself better, mate. We've got some big things coming up over the next week or two. So get yourself better. Thank you, guys. We will see you again very, very shortly. Goodbye.